time is 5:01. Sorry for this slight delay there getting started. First order of business is call the meeting to order. Stand, please give pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Did you all see the agenda?
Yes.
Do you want a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda. No.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by same sign. Motion carries 3-0.
Mr. Chairman, will we take the minutes since we do not have a secretary?
That is correct. So, if you all pardon me from time to time, I will have to stop and take notes. Agenda approved. 3-0. Motion Dan. Susan. All right. So, the second order on the agenda here is discussion action on recent staff resignations without notice and any related actions to ensure operations during transition, including temporary hiring of interim staff and expanding duties of the remaining employee staff to include, and then there's A through E. A is discussion action on actions taken by town chair since resignation, identifying and signing remaining to-do items. So let me start with kind of a factual rundown here of where we got to today. So we had our special closed session meeting at the end of June, and I think you were both present. Take roll call real quick. So the present is, starting with you, Dan.
Susan Blank.
Chairman. Bill absent. Lang has a medical, so she didn't let us know, but she's not here. All right, so we had our special closed meeting at the end of June, and when we came out of closed meeting, we did a number of motions, one of which was to modify the working hours of our clerk, going to 38 hours, starting on August 1st, today. That was approved, minutes were posted, recordings posted, etc. Fast forward to our July meeting, a regular meeting. Dan was absent, Susan was here, and I believe Rachel was here. At that meeting, we had voted, among other items, to decrease the hours of the deputy clerk to 0 through the end of the year, absent filling in for the clerk. So, you know all that. So here's where things go from there. So, in between that time, I never received an email from our clerk, treasurer, deputy clerk, objecting to what we had voted on, or even asking for clarification. Nothing of any sort of communication was received by me. I assume the same holds true for both of you. So, no idea that there was anything going on. Then at the meeting on the 1st of July, our deputy clerk was here, took minutes, and heard the vote that we did. And then again, after that meeting, I realized there was a holiday in there, but no emails, no correspondence, no concerns raised, anything like that. Until Ms. Shaw was on vacation at that meeting, our clerk. And so, if you recall, we voted to do the schedule starting August 1st, so that she would have time to get back from vacation. While on the second week of vacation, I did indicate to our deputy clerk that she could work the Wednesday, because she normally doesn't work Wednesdays, because that would be a date that Vicki was gone and she could work. She responded saying that she declined, she has things to do on Wednesday, so she wasn't going to work. Later, I received an email that said, can I be authorized to work? I think it was Monday the 21st. And, well, you already are authorized. Sure. She says the purpose is to turn in keys to consult with Vicki for 2 hours. And I said, sure. And then she apparently turned in her keys and didn't give me a resignation notice per se, but essentially stopped working at that point. So come to the 30th of July this month, midday I started receiving some email notifications from the state indicating certain accounts were being, access being closed, such as the Wisconsin benefits, and that Ms. Shaw was going to be removed from that as well as Ms. Johnson. So, okay, so kind of thought something was going on there, but received an email at 4:30, of which you were copied on, with the resignation notice, first from Ms. Shaw, second from Chris Garber. Obviously, we had no notice, no advance notice, no 2 weeks was given. In fact, as it relates to Ms. Shaw, there was no indication of where items like keys or passwords, alarm codes, things like that we need to function. None of that was provided to me. In Ms. Garber's case, she did indicate that her keys were on the conference room table. I immediately went to notify somebody, so I called Ms. Blank and I said, hey, we have these resignations, please meet me at Town Hall. So I wanted to go to Town Hall. I had a set of keys. Turns out I had an incomplete set of keys, but we'll get to that down the road. I opened the door, the alarm was going off. Cleaning lady was here, alarm going off. I didn't have a way to shut it off. And ultimately, that kind of started me writing a to-do list of things that we need to do as a town. So we could not get into the back office, which is all the offices in the back. I didn't have that key. I was never provided that key. So I called our IT professional, Mr. Whiteside, and I said, please come over here. We need to do some work on the computers and some security issues. And if you have a key, that would be great if you could bring it. So around 9 o'clock, he got here and was able to produce a key. So I was able to get in, computer passwords were changed, etc. We found the alarm code, contacted the alarm company. So that was essentially what happened on Wednesday night. So the next day, after making a list of things to do, I had contacted our locksmith, since it was clear I didn't have all the keys, and at this point we didn't have any staff, so we would need to obviously potentially retool that. He is willing to meet us on Monday. Obviously down the road here in the agenda we have that item to approve. I had called the bank, the Wisconsin Towns Association. I had everybody removed from the signers of our accounts, so those accounts are secure. Fortunately, I'm a signer on all those accounts. Again, we can get to the bank records later. I also called our neighboring town of Troy. I talked to Doug, the chairman. He said we might want to explore potentially borrowing a clerk treasurer for the short term, and he said he'd get back to me. I talked to our web provider. I already did have access, thankfully, based on your votes prior. So I was able to get the meeting notice put out. I was able to get a notice sent to the citizens of what happened. I also was in communication with our attorney several times during this period of time. Let's see, what am I missing in terms of all that was done? I asked Mr. Fosterling if he could provide us the name of the temporary clerk person that is basically in the business of being a temporary clerk, and he provided me a way to get in touch with him. I contacted the village in North Hudson, who had his contact information. While I was there, I talked with Gina, who gave me a glowing recommendation for this fellow, and Frank Pascarelli is his name. And she gave me his contact info. I immediately contacted him asked if he had any availability to serve the town of Hudson. He said he was interested. He was on vacation and was supposed to be returning today. Turns out his flight was delayed, but he'll be here at some point today. Indicated he is interested. He said, gave me a little bit about his parameters, which we can again discuss later. So that was kind of a summary of what's been going on in the last day and a half for me. My initial thoughts here were that, whatever contracts we use, both of our employees were supposed to give us notice. None was given. No advance notice, no hints of anything. I personally felt that was very unprofessional. And it left us hanging with, having to go through drawers to find passwords, having to go through drawers to find keys, not having an alarm code that was going off. Literally, if I hadn't had those keys, we would have had no access to this building. So I'm very grateful that we at least had that. And we also wouldn't have had website access, but for the fact that you wanted to give that to me. So, anyway, here we are. Personally, I think this is a new day for the town of Hudson. I think that we have an opportunity to put together a staff that will be more customer service friendly, that will be more in line with servicing the needs of our town. And if anything, frankly, the unprofessionalism of leaving us this way proves my point that we needed new people. So, with that being said, let's go through the rest of the agenda. So, let's go to item B, since we've completed item A. Unless there's any questions on item A.
No questions.
It's blank? All right. So, Frank Pasquarelli. So this individual is a retired clerk himself, worked for municipalities and towns, mostly a little further north of us during his regular career. He has made it his retirement business, so to speak, to fill in on an as-needed basis for towns exactly in our situation. So Dan, thank you very much for keeping your ears open to getting this person. I appreciate that very much. So like I said, when I called the Village of Hudson, I asked Gina over there, and she had nothing but good to say. Not only was he a good transitional person, organized, on task, but he trained new people, which I think is extremely important as the situation we're in right now. I also had the chance to talk to Chief Reicher, the chief of the Village of Hudson, and I asked him his opinion of Frank. And he said that he was very, very good and had nothing but good to say. I was also made aware that the city of Baldwin had recently used Mr. Pasquarelli. And again, nothing but good recommendations. I also talked to our attorney about who's aware of this fellow, and Mr. Mahler said that he has heard that he's worked in a number of towns, all successfully. Again, had nothing but bad to say. So, nuts and bolts. It's possible that Frank could be here as early as Monday. Now, the fortunate thing for the town is we were not really scheduled to be open on Thursday at all, and but for the new schedule, we would have been closed Friday anyway. So in reality, I don't think we've lost any days of service to the town people. So whether Frank can start on Monday or not, I have taken Monday off. I will be in this office all day on Monday. He has indicated that he will work 20 to 28 hours, and he said he could be flexible with that number for us, and his rate would be $60 an hour. Do you have any questions about Mr. Pasquarelli? One other thing I'll add is I asked our attorney, Mr. Mahler, I asked him if, since we have a separate clerk and a separate treasurer, if on an interim basis it's lawful for us to have one person fill both roles. I have a written email on my town email that confirms that both by statute and our ordinances we can do so. And so I'll open it up to further discussion.
Will Frank need other help?
Yes.
And that help being
Well, I still want to explore with either town of Troy or even other local towns. What we really need that I've identified, and Mr. Waller agrees, is we need to be able to pay our next set of bills in August. And those are coming up within about a week. And again, we'll get to that kind of on our list. We're going to need some more signatures on our bank accounts. But if we could borrow just to help do our bills by neighboring treasurer, we would be able to get through until our hiring process goes. Basically, the elected board would be the one signing out the checks, and we would be able to get through this month. So he will need help. Not only that, he's had more of an administrator role. So, in terms of, data entry or something, we might need somebody to do that. And again, we'll know a little bit more about that when he gets here. I guess taking these one at a time, I move we hire Frank Pasquarelli on an interim basis as our clerk treasurer combined at the rate of $60 an hour on a 20 to 28 hour a week basis.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, so in terms of hours, do you get any parameters as far as hours that you can work?
I asked him if he'd be comfortable working with our current, what was our old town schedule of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and he said that's acceptable.
Okay.
So I think really, and it's again on our agenda later, and we should vote to delay the implementation of the full schedule for being open. A, it'll save us money not having, $6 a week, but B, we should focus on what really needs to be done on the core issues, I think, during this transition. So,
I think Mr. Pasquarelli is an excellent interim choice.
great. Susan, any further?
I'm excited that it's somebody that would like to train and educate, so that does leave us open for applicants that might not have everything checked off, and that we can put them how we would like things done in this township, not how possibly they've done it in another township.
Yes, and especially since he's got broad experience, he's seen it from more than one town or city. And so I think this is really a good, frankly, we're lucky to have him available.
And he would have to be part of the Wisconsin Towns Association.
My presumption would be.
And that's another place that if we need help, we could possibly go through is the Wisconsin Towns Association. But I'm happy that we are conversing with people in our community close by that could possibly help us get through this period.
Well, I think that's part of the job. So, just to make sure I got my minutes right, I moved, you seconded,
Yes.
correct?
Yes,
Okay.
I will be copying this down myself as well.
All right. So, on the motion then that I've made, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Item C, discussion action on changing locks, door code, and related security concerns. Well, I think it's pretty clear we need to completely retool every single door in this building. And even tonight, I had to dig through a drawer to find the owl, which was in the back room, which was not one of the 3 keys that I was given when I asked for a set of keys to this building. I know it's expensive, but I think given the situation where we're going to have 100% complete new staff, we don't have a choice but to, for the security of this building and for the security of the records of our town's information by our citizens, but to hire that locksmith. His name is Chris Amdahl. I did speak with him. He is available to come as early as 9 a.m. on Monday. Any further discussion?
If you were making this motion, in this motion I would also like to include that going forward, that it's an absolute, that our town chairman has a full set of keys. Because I believe this is where a lot of our problems came from, is I can remember specifically at a meeting, you asked me for a set of keys for everything, and you're telling us that you were not given a full set of keys. So I want to make sure this does not happen to us again.
Well, to your point, Susan, I think you witnessed me not have a full set of keys.
Right. I was here, I know, because you did not want to be in this building by yourself. You wanted to witness that you were here, not here by yourself.
That's correct. What I heard you say, Susan, is that you make a motion separate from the locksmith. And we can take those up individually. It's related to this topic. That's fine. So do you move that from this point in time going forward, that the town chairman shall have a complete set of keys to the building?
That is a motion I'm making, that I would like the town chairman to have a full set of keys going forward.
I will second that motion. Any further discussion, Dan?
Would that include like, to a safe, that sort of thing? So, the records are secure, where the records are?
Well, so the rationale given to me by the clerk at the time was that she is in charge of the records from the town, which is absolutely true by statute. But if this experience has shown us anything, is we need redundancy. And the way I look at it is, if the people of this town have elected us as leaders, they trust us not to steal from the town, etc. And so there's no reason for me to go into a record room unless I absolutely need to. But I think that if we don't have a duplicative set, we're going to be back in this situation sometime in the future. So I think it would include for everything. Bear with me, folks, while I write this down.
Well, I just want to make sure that, nobody is in a position where someone could accuse them of having, come to the hall in the evening when nobody else was there and access, the records. I don't think you want to be in that situation either. So,
I don't, but luckily we do have a full security system that points in that it would be known.
yeah.
So
And I think because of the fact that, it would be a recorded fact, I think that probably would relieve that concern. So I'm willing to support it.
all right. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion by Susan that going forward the town sheriff shall have a full set of keys signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None.
Your original motion has not been made for the locks.
I know. Dan, you want to try one?
I think part of in terms of a motion.
Yeah, in terms of, just so we can hire the locksmith of Chris Campbell.
Yeah, I have a question on that now. We could get a locksmith tonight if we wanted to.
That would cost more.
Okay.
And I will say that this is the locksmith that has been in our building before. Also is the locksmith. Yep, he's the locksmith that does the parks.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to have the consistent vendor.
Did we get a quote for it?
What's that?
Did we get a quote?
It did not.
Okay.
The reason though is, frankly, I didn't know how many locks and keys we were dealing with. I just learned tonight that there are more keys that I didn't have. So, and the fact of the matter is, to me, it's a necessity. We just have to do this. So the cost is kind of, if people would have quit with notice, this would not be an expense that we'd have to deal with.
Okay. Well, I think we do need to move ahead. So I do make a motion that we move ahead with the locksmith, this Ambo, and to proceed to change the locks, door codes, necessary.
I'll second your motion.
Just one point of clarification on your motion. You mean all locks and door code?
If we change the locks and everything that's exposed to the outside, would that be adequate?
I don't think so, because I still don't have keys to certain
I
doors.
see,
In
okay.
fact, the door with the computer stack, and part of the reason why I don't have this all figured out quite yet is I couldn't get in there to do it.
Okay.
So do you mean all locks?
I mean all locks.
All right.
All locks necessary for us to get access to every lock door. The door that otherwise could or would be locked.
Very good. Is there a second?
I second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Discussion action on temporarily expanding duties of Scott Blank and other employees. So, Scott Blank is our Parks Grounds person. He is already an employee. I think as his supervisor by his contract, I can alter his duties as see fit. And I have talked to Scott. He has agreed to help answer phones, do light clerical, data entry, whatever needs to happen in the short term at the same rate. Therefore, I don't think I need a motion on this because we're not hiring somebody new. We are not changing the rate. So I guess as it relates to Scott Blank, I'm going to ask that he work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and focus on his office duties versus the park for a short time. So again, unless there's an objection, I think as a supervisor, I can simply ask him to do that. He's already on payroll, he's already an employee, and I am a supervisor. So with that understanding, that's my intent. Any objection?
I abstain from any comment.
Okay. Any objection, Dan?
No.
All right, then I will do that. So again, this kind of goes to any other action necessary for, operations and other employees. Technically, you're both employees, you're also elected officials. We're going to need 2 more signers. So the way, just so the public understands, the way our general checking is set up, the town chairman signs, and there's a signature for 2 other people. And so we need 3 signers on every check, and that's a check and balance to make sure that when we're paying bills, it's not unauthorized. You 2 are here. I make a motion that Dan Fosterling and Susan Blank be added as signators to the general checking, and frankly, all the accounts if they require more than 1 signature, in the interim basis with Susan will sign for the clerk line and you will sign for the treasurer line. Any further, is there a second?
I second that.
Is there any further discussion?
This would just be momentarily temporary.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, for the public, these are elected officials, these are not new people, so that there will be a check and balance so that your money's safe. Our money as our town is safe. So, I moved, and who seconded? Dan did, right? All right, all those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Another thing, so again, along these lines, while we have our interim person, while, he comes highly recommended, I think it would be a good idea, since we are elected to represent the folks in the town, that some of us volunteer our time in the office as board members during this interim period. I'm going to start by Monday. I already took the day off. I will be here Monday. It's unfortunate that we don't have Mr. Thill here or Ms. Lang, and I know that there's certain reasons why Rachel's not here and she might not be physically able to do this, but at least there's 3 days, there's 3 of us, 4 if we count Ken, and I think that, I guess I don't know if I need a motion for this, but I'm just wondering if we can't do this to help the town to be here, so that when somebody comes, you know, you guys have vast experience and time with the town. It would be really helpful if you were here for as much as you can be for the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. Just to, you know, if anything, if Frank needs some help with where is something at, you might be able to help them. So I don't know if we need a motion on this, but I think it would be a really good idea.
Yeah, I honestly don't know where things are in that office, but I'm willing to help, and if they need a run to the post office, I see there was a notice on the front door, a UPS trying to be a delivery. I mean, those kind of things I can do. And yes, I'll help out wherever.
Great. Well, I appreciate that from both of you.
No charge, I mean,
Right.
go by the hour notice.
Well, hold on, you get a giant check every quarter, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. No.
Anyways, that's much appreciated. And again, purposes is just let the town know we're not going to fall apart in the next month or two, okay? We will be here. All right. Thank you for that. Okay, I think that takes care of D related items. Discussion action on expediting the commencing hiring process. Obviously, this is a bigger priority than we were thinking of at the end of December. Again, the good news is Mr. Pasquarelli has experience training people. First thing, we're going to need some applicants in an application. I have access to the website. I can create that document. I can get it out there. I can do just like I did for the notice for the resignations. I can do a notice to anybody who signed up, visible on our webpage, that we're accepting applications for clerk and treasurer. Now, on the good news, folks, I personally had 5 people reach out to me and say I'm interested in the job. Have you had anybody reach out to you?
I have.
The other thing is, so the last place that Mr. Pasquarelli worked, the town of Baldwin, city of Baldwin, it was reported to me that they had so many good candidates for the position of treasurer that they had a hard time deciding, which is good news for us. It means there are people in our local area who might be qualified. So our attorney has volunteered that he will ask the city of Baldwin for their applications, and so maybe we can contact them so that we get maybe some good applications for treasurer quicker than later. So he's going to do that. I don't think we need a motion for that, but the other thing is, and this one we do need a motion. So I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce here in Hudson. The town is not yet, but I will be putting that on the agenda, by the way, for August. They are having a job fair on the 7th of August. And I take the liberty of contacting the president of the chamber and ask if, pending our vote tonight, they would hold a table so that we could do a booth at the job fair on the 7th. The cost is $35. Because I don't have a check right now, I'm going to advance that $35 and I'll submit a reimbursement. But I think this would be a great opportunity. All these people are coming for the job fair already, and it's in just a week. And I think, you know, if one of us could staff it, I know I won't be able to that day, but if one of us could staff that table.
So what day is it?
It's August 7th.
What day of the week is that?
Thursday.
Is that Thursday?
Yeah, I think it's Thursday.
And what are the hours?
3 to 6.
I will get it to you, or I could.
It's 3 to 6.
Oh, well, thank
3
you.
to 6 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
And where's it where's the fair to be?
Well, I'll pull it up here. I haven't started. Hudson High School.
I just listened to this, the high school.
Yep, 3 to 6 p.m. Thursday, August 7th.
Does it say exactly where in high school? Because sometimes they hide in rooms.
No idea.
It should be, well,
But I talked to the chamber president, and she's happy to give us a booth for $35.
Dan, would you
That's
like,
great, that'll be fine, I'll be happy to do that.
would you like to run a booth?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You know, 2 people does not constitute a quorum, so you couldn't do it together.
Are we gonna need, something at that point, you know, for job duties?
So,
You know, to have there, so they kind of have an idea what their job duties might be?
yes, and I have not yet begun digging through the computer system. I do know we have a job description for clerk for sure, because it was attached to the clerk's contract. Now, whether that's the one we want to use or not, but also by statute, these other duties. Now, it might be nice to have a little bit of signage, whether that's just poster boards, we don't have to go crazy, for the booth, but, and have those copies. So I guess, I'll make a motion, kind of one motion that kind of has 2 components. One that we authorize and pay for a table for the Hudson Chamber of Commerce Job Fair on August 7th. So we have a booth and authorize $100 for reimbursable expenses for signage, copies, brochures, whatever. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, bear with me.
Okay, so we have contact person as far as all the logistics.
Yes. I can share that with you too. And
That $100 is to include the $35?
no, that's in addition. So it's $35 for the Hudson Chamber entry fee, and then $100 for signage and related materials. All right. Now, who seconded this one for me?
Dan did.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. We had talked, you know, it was going to be on the agenda for the June meeting about having a hiring committee. We definitely should move that faster now than before. So, what are your thoughts on how we should compose this?
Well, we need all board members to be here. We have missed some of our board members, and some, unfortunately, more frequent. We need our board members here.
I agree.
And this is something important. We need to have all of them here during the discussions.
Especially during the time when we need to pull early. That being said, I also was thinking that, you know, depending on how this goes, we could maybe use the assistance of a professional recruiter. It's something I talked about before. If we can get good applicants and we've already got a lot of interest, then maybe it's not something that we need now. But if we don't get good applicants, I strongly suggest we need to maybe use some professional help. I personally think that with proper announcements, with the job fair, contacting the other towns nearby and cities, we'll probably be able to find really good quality candidates. Not to mention the between all of us that have already had people reach out. So should the hiring committee just consist of the board and we call a meeting at every one? We can do that.
You know, as far as hiring somebody from the outside, I would like to give us a deadline that if we don't get decent applicants within a certain time frame, that we could reach out.
We can do that.
Those are all the strategies that we decide.
Yes, yes. Right, but just give us, you know,
Dan, you've had experience in this area. Do you want to, maybe as one of the days you're in here, put together, qualifications, kind of some criteria, whatever. We got to do it pretty quick because there's job fair on Thursday.
I think, I think frankly, a great resource for that. So, I don't have a problem with that. So, I would be willing to see what I can do about it.
So this is just my thoughts here. I'm only one voice. But I think that when we look at what we want in the future, we want candidates who have customer service experience. So not just somebody who's like, I've been a clerk for 30 years. That would be nice, but if they're not personal and they don't give the citizens here a good feeling when they come to town hall, I'd rather not have them. Because that has been missing here for so long. And so I would like to set some general parameters that one of them being that we prioritize customer service experience as one of the criteria for hiring this new person, unfortunately. Do we agree?
well, just like we've done in some other closed sessions, every board member has come forth with their ideas as far as, say, we pick a topic, and they all have ordinances or whatever, how they want to go about it. So I would appreciate every town board member's insight to be added as what they're looking for in these positions as well as, checking the boxes, but there are some outside things that we see that the outsider does not see. And I would like their input as well, anyone's input that's on this board.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think that what we can do is just make sure that everybody's invited to do that. But that doesn't mean that we delay the process.
Right. Well, why don't I make this motion? I make a motion that every elected board member submit to the clerk's email, so we can still access it. Clerk's email, their ideal features, desires, qualities of candidates for positions of clerk, treasurer, and deputy clerk. I realize that's something that is not going to be selected by us, but again, it's more or less the same. What's the ideal kind of person we want working here?
Actually, I'm not willing to go anywhere near the deputy clerk because that is the clerk's position to hire whomever they like. All we can do is set the wage. We can set the wage, but we have no say over who the clerk hires.
By statute.
By statute.
That's true. That is true. Although we could also say we don't want to have a big clerk and whatever wage is going to be zero. So it is, we can't say that we don't need more. But let's cross that bridge when we get there. So I'll amend my motion to just be for the position of clerk and treasurer. Each board member is expected to email to the clerk email address their desires, wish list, qualities of new hires. Let's say by Wednesday, the day before the job fair, so that when you are at this, you can look for these qualities. So, is there a second to that motion?
I will say.
further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Any other thoughts, board members, on as it relates to the hiring and what basic item E on our agenda? Anything else?
This is maybe not directly related to the hiring, but I don't think we have an agenda for Tuesday.
So the 12th is the next meeting.
That's right, we have it's 12. So we have a little time.
Right. So by the way, if you want things to be added, let me know because I will be doing it in less than 5 days. So I have a draft going. Again, I have full ability to post the agenda through the website, so not any deficiency situation there. So just let me know if you want items added. I'll take care of it. I may pare it down a little bit for what we planned, but thank you for the reminder that we are on the 12th at 6 p.m. this month. So for everybody in the audience, next meeting's not next Tuesday, it's the 12th. Moving on to discussion action on delayed implementation of the office being open 5 days a week until new staff is fully trained and hired. Obviously, I don't think it behooves us to be open right now in the situation we're in more than our traditional Monday through Wednesday hours. So does anybody have a motion to make there?
Yeah, so moved.
All right, so I'll interpret that as to maintain the former office hours temporarily.
Operation
Right.
going forward for the time being.
And you want those hours from 9 to 4:30 or 9 to 4?
Let's just keep it the same, the way that people expect, what it's been.
9 to 4:30?
Yeah. I don't want to lessen service at this time either. So, I think delay, implementation, expanded hours, and temporarily will back to former hours. Is that your motion?
Yes.
All right, Dan moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? I'll just say, I don't think we have a choice. I mean, if we're going to be hiring some, hourly staff, we better keep our hours conservative. Not to say that I want to delay, or not that I don't want to ultimately get to 5 days a week, because that's something I was really proud that we all decided to do, but I think given the situation, we don't have a choice. So, any further discussion on that item? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Again, kind of the agenda here said, any related actions to ensure operations during transition. Is there any other concerns that you guys have?
I guess I do. Okay. Who is going to open up the office? And who is going each day, and who is going to close the office each day? These are going to be,
So what I can answer for you is on Monday, it will be me opening and closing the office. If we can get Frank here one day, then going forward, it'll be Frank. Unless, of course, Frank can't make it, we might have to have a board member. And my intention is, once we get the locks changed and new sets of keys, we will be responsible for where they're at. And, we're kind of all 5 of us we're in charge right now. So, we're going to have to share that responsibility. Some days it might, if Frank's sick, it might be you, it might be Scott, it might be Dan, it might, who knows. But a board member or employee ensure operations during transition. I actually do have one thing. We couldn't get the owl figured out tonight. In fact, I had to go find it, and I did, but it took me half an hour to find it. So we're going to need Tim Whiteside to teach more than one of us how to use it. And so I guess I would like to ask the board for an authorization for our IT person, Tim Whiteside, to train the board members on how to use this and set up the meetings properly. Is there a second?
I second that.
All right, any further discussion on that issue? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carried 3-0. Any other things that you think we're missing for the next, keep in mind, we're meeting again on the 12th, so,
Should be good until then.
I think so. Any other discussion?
Mr.
Hearing
Chairman?
none.
Any chance for public comment?
Not tonight, I'm sorry. I'm not that good of a clerk in terms of writing down what you're saying. We just don't have the capacity tonight. However, I do have a question. Since we didn't get a video, would you be willing to share your copy of this video with us?
Absolutely.
Anybody have an objection to that?
No.
Because honestly, I think this recorded, I don't know. All right, then, seeing nothing else, any motions to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Dan, second. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
3-0. Time of the adjournment was about 5:56.